Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa. You know, I got some good news. Just found out the disco bus makes its return. So it went to Almont the last time. It's going to Arnprior this time around. They have so many fantastic local businesses. Such a short trip. Make a day out of it. It is so much fun to visit some of these great smaller towns. We're really fortunate in the Ottawa region to have some. And coming all the way from Arnprior is my next guest. I'm joined by Dianne Rodger. She's the owner designer at Dianne Rodger Jewellery. Welcome, Dianne.
Hi.
Great to have you here.
Thanks
Let's
for
talk.
having me.
You're very welcome. Let's talk a little bit about your background. How did you get into jewelry design?
I was always one of those kids who just couldn't stop making things.
Okay.
I would always be playing with beads or crafting, and it just kind of blossomed from there. I was just always playing with stuff, building, making.
Yeah, but when did you decide that, okay, this is what I want to do for a career, for a business?
It took a while. When I was out of high school, I had a job at a bead store, kind of like Sassy Bead here in Ottawa, but it was in North Vancouver.
Nice.
And then I learned a lot there, repairs and making of things. And then when I left that job, I never wanted to stop. So I just kept making jewelry, and I would do a market here and there, and then it just became every year more markets, and it grew. It just slowly grew.
What brought you to Arnprior?
I'm from Arnprior.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you're from the Prior.
I sure am.
And I'd like to talk a little bit about that. You know, we're going to do a little show and tell here, but it really is a great place. And I meant it off the top. My wife and I love taking, road trips and little field trips to Arnprior. What do you love about it? How would you describe Arnprior?
Well, it's very picturesque. It's got everything.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of good shopping, really good food. It's all the downtown is super small.
Yeah.
But then about a 5-minute walk away, we have this amazing waterfront with a beach and a splash pad, like just all the stuff.
Yeah.
And then we've got the Algonquin Trail, which is a really well-maintained multi-purpose sort of pathway, because it used to be a rail line and now it's a biking, hiking trail. So there's just a lot in one very small area.
So what materials do you use? Tell me a little bit about the type of jewelry that you design.
Yeah, mine is sterling silver, which we've got here. Actually, anything you see here is sterling if it's the white. And then for the yellow tones, it's gold fill. Okay. Gold fill is great because you're not paying for solid gold, but there's enough gold on there that it doesn't wear off. It doesn't really tarnish. It's a really good value.
How do you come up with your designs? So sort of what inspires you?
I guess just fiddling around and daydreaming about the materials because I'm a gemologist as well, so there's a lot of stone accents and everything too. And I don't know, just daydreaming and playing around with things and stuff kind of slowly materializes. And yeah, it just happens.
Well, and as I said, you have a brick and mortar place in Arnprior, but you don't just showcase yourself, you showcase other jewelry designers. How do you go about choosing them?
Well, so I spent a long time working at a local company called Magpie Jewellery.
Ah, yes.
And so Magpie's sort of format is selling the works of many, many, many artists.
Right.
And through working there, I learned a lot, and I eventually sold my jewelry there.
Okay.
And in a unintended way, that working there, that work experience was just training to opening my own store. So in a way, I've learned a lot from that, and I've applied a lot of that to my store. So I know a lot of those artists myself, and I meet them at shows too. We do trade shows, so the trade show circuit, you meet a lot of artists.
Yeah, and I guess that is that coming back now? Like everything shut down, almost for 3 years. So that must be nice. And do you go to local markets and events and things like that still?
Yeah, there's a well-known company called Signatures, so I do signature shows, and then I've done a few more in the Niagara region, in Toronto area. That's what I'm trying to branch out to a little bit more. So kind of all over the place.
Yeah, and jewelry designers, from Ontario, and then you have a couple of from BC, from out west as well, right? But all Canadian.
Exactly.
That's the beauty of it. Let's do a little show and tell here. I want to showcase some of the stuff you brought along here, without dropping them, of course. Tell me a little bit about these pieces.
So these are traditionally hand carved pieces in the Haida Gwaii his sort of history. These are really, really well known, sort of iconic Indigenous artists, and they're the brothers that I happen to sell are both in Victoria, BC, and they're really well known for the symbolism of the animals that are on the pieces.
The designs are absolutely beautiful. And this looks like the same designer, right? Something like that, just a little bit bigger piece.
Yes, exactly.
Beautiful necklace there. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's so, the talent. I can't even imagine how you engrave something on there
it's an art. It's clearly an art form. It takes years and years of honing the skill.
Right.
And the carvers learn from generations before. They're generally really strong family handed down sort of skills. So these brothers learned from multiple generations before.
From some of their elders. Tell me about these pieces. I'm just going to turn them towards camera here. This one really stood out to me.
This is my signature is definitely the wire. So there's 30 feet of wire that I've sort of carefully and somewhat abstractly made into a big, huge twist. So it's hollow throughout the middle where I run the chains.
That is 30 feet of wire.
It is,
That's awesome.
Oh my God. And then I'm going to dump the whole thing.
No, that was me. Don't worry. Yeah, I moved the table a bit. Don't nobody panic. Everything's okay here, Dianne. Not to worry.
And then I've got some statement stones here too. Like I said, I'm a gemologist, so I really, really love rocks and gemstones and showcasing them. And often they're really, really puny, but then more recently I've gotten into bigger pieces that have a lot of visual impact.
Before we run out of time, we're going to do a little demonstration here on how to clean some jewelry, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I get asked so much, what am I supposed to do to clean my silver jewelry? Do you have a cleaning supply for that? And I say, no, you do. It's called baking soda. It's in your kitchen.
It's become popular on today's show.
I know, last segment too. So all you need is some water and dry baking soda.
Okay.
So
what am I just dumping this in?
No.
Oh.
We're gonna get you've got a ring here?
Yeah.
So we'll get that wet.
Okay.
All the water does is make sure the baking soda will stick to the jewelry.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you don't combine them necessarily.
No, so now we're just rubbing the baking soda all over.
Okay.
You don't have to be too gentle. You really kind of need to rub.
Gotcha.
You might need both hands, yeah.
So the baking got about 30
soda
seconds left here. Tell everybody where they can find you there in Arnprior.
Okay, so I'm on John Street, 118 John Street North. It's really the nice, busy.
Is it ever coming clean?
Isn't it great?
Amazing. Oh, and the disco bus. When is the disco bus?
Oh, that's on the 19th.
Okay.
So it's a Sunday. You can buy tickets. I wish I knew the website. Probably She Shops Local.
Yeah, sheshopslocal.ca.
Yes.
You can find that on Facebook as well. Dianne, thanks so much for joining us. And
so
we're going to just
you're
pop
just going
this
to
in
rinse
here.
it off,
Okay.
and you're going to see how bright and
Look at that.
shiny it is
Beautiful.
now.
We'll be right back after this.